All right, so I am way behind on schedule. Things that I was supposed to cover with you.
All night.
I'll stay.
Things that I was supposed to cover with you guys today.
I hear the hotel's got rooms.
Yeah, it's my son. I promised my son I'll be back home to take him
Oh, I
out.
forgot you guys
I have
were
to go
going
home.
home.
I have to go
He's
home.
playing the sun card.
So this is what I'm gonna do. We'll talk about a few stuff until 5 o'clock. We'll wrap it up at 5, and then tomorrow morning we'll pick up from this. I was talking to Solomon downstairs. One of the reasons when I look back now is because most of what I was supposed to do tomorrow, which is cover the market in general, we've been doing that today, in a sense, okay, because of what happened yesterday. So I think, I'm like, why did I run out of time? It's like, why am I running out of time? And I just realized, like, no, the topic I was supposed to cover on the third day, we've pretty much been covering yesterday and today, okay? So tomorrow, I promise you guys, as long as God lets us come over here alive, that we will go into, we'll focus mainly on strategies tomorrow. But I want to touch on a couple of things today as far as strategies is concerned, because I promised I was going to do that. Okay, so one of them is this Netflix trade. Eric had asked me about Netflix. How did you see Netflix? What made you buy Netflix? And stuff like that. This has to do with one of the strategies that I like. Okay, so tomorrow we'll go into more details. One of the strategies that I really, so let me put it this way. For those of you guys who know me, monthly chart is what I really like to do. Okay, slow, it's consistent, less headache. My best strategy for monthly charts is IPO. Okay, my IPO strategy, that is my best strategy for long term. I tell people, I said, if you don't know what else to do long term, you're trying to build your IRA, learn the IPO strategy, do that. Okay? But then the question becomes, well, that's good, Wally. We need shorter term. And so for that, I have multiple strategies. I mean, it's like too many to count now. However, I have narrowed it down to about three strategies that I have narrowed it down to, and that is what I'm going to share with you guys today and tomorrow. Okay? But there's more to it than just those three. I'm just saying these three are consistent enough where if you did these, you would do well, short term. So the first one is earnings. Okay? The first one is earnings, a strategy around earnings. Okay, and that's what we did with Netflix. I'll talk about that. The second strategy that is equally as profitable is dividends. I have a strategy around dividends. Okay? And then the third strategy is seasonality. Okay? Those are the three. Now, interchangeably, I will use those depending on my mood, depending on what's going on in the market, depending on what stock comes to my attention. Okay? But at the end of the day, I believe that if you're able to get those three strategies down packed for shorter term, that will be very consistently profitable for you. The only problem with that is they're not day trades. Okay, so that's where I bring in Solomon to talk about day trading. But we talk about swing trading of 2, 3, 4, 5 days, a week, 2 weeks. Those are the three strategies that I would say that you should use. All right, and I use mine slightly different from what most people do out there.
So 2 days to 2 weeks? Roughly?
Yeah, 2 days to 2 weeks. 2 days to 2 weeks. The longest I will ever stay in any of these trades are probably 3 weeks. Okay? Unless it's like doing super well and I'm just letting it ride a trend. Okay? All right. So let me start with earnings. Earnings. All right. So one of the things I have done is in my quest to understand this market, one of the things I decided to do was like, hey, earnings, there's a lot of money to be made on earnings. The problem with earnings is what? We don't know where it's going to go, whether it's going to go up or whether it's going to go down, okay? And so for that reason, I've been avoiding earnings for the longest time. Now, when I was in options, I lost so much money because of earnings. I didn't understand the whole volatility crush and all that kind of stuff. For those of you guys who might not understand that, just Google that, volatility crush. There's a lot of information about that, about volatility crush. But I found something very interesting in my search for how to trade earnings. And it's not really a brand new concept, but it's just that my twist to it has made it kind of okay to trade. And that is, with earnings, there are certain stocks that have a pattern before earnings take place, and certain stocks that have a pattern after earnings take place. And so where everybody's focused on earnings day itself, I'm focusing on the pattern before or the pattern after earnings. Okay? I'm focusing on the pattern before or the pattern after earnings. All right? Everything you've learned from day one, which was really yesterday, everything you've learned from day one, if you learn to put that together and start looking for patterns on these earnings trade, you will start beginning to see some very interesting things. And so one of the things I've done as well is I have what I call an earnings playbook. And then I have what is called a dividends playbook. And I have what is called a seasonality playbook. And what I have done with that is I have gathered a list of stocks based on earnings and how they perform. And I have that all written down. I've been teaching my nephew now, I said, look, you got to get to the point where you are trading based off of data and not off of your mind. I heard one person say that if you can remember all your customers in your head, you don't have enough customers. If you can manage all your properties in your head, you don't have enough properties. Okay? If you can do all your business in your head, you don't have enough business. Okay? It says business is all about how much information you write down and going back to that information over and over and over again. Okay? It's the data that you have written down. So for that reason, I became very organized and tried to start putting together a list of stocks, and that's what I have my nephew doing right now. He's putting together his list. And the way I look at that is I say, look at those lists as your customers. Okay? When you have a customer, and you know this customer comes in at this time every day and they order X, Y, Z. When that time comes the next time, and they're coming in, and you know that every time they come in, they do what? They order X, Y, Z. What do you want to offer them? X, Y, Z. Okay? So when I look at these stocks, I look at stocks as my customers. I say, what is the behavior pattern of this stock right before earnings? And so I will look up to a month to 2 months before earnings to see if they have a pattern. If they have a pattern. If I start seeing patterns, I start writing those patterns down. And then when the next earnings come, all I want to do is see if it's behaving again the same way, so that way I know that it's ready to do something. So, part of what helps me with that is a software called Magenta Trader. You guys probably ever heard of Magenta Trader. I'm keep this a secret right now. Well, I'm sharing this with you guys. I'm in the process of actually acquiring Magenta Trader. Okay, it might be done by the end of this week.
Derek wants to stay on his boat and forget about everything else.
But if I do end up acquiring Magenta Trader, I'm going to put my twist to the software. I'm going to put a lot of these candlesticks that I have that I do, because I see Magenta Trader is a powerful software. Just, you know, there's ways, if I apply the way I trade to it, it can even become stronger. Okay, so keeping my fingers crossed, pray for me. Hopefully we're able to close this deal by Friday, by this weekend actually. So by Monday I will know. Yeah, I'm keeping it between you guys. So don't go out and say anything, because until we sign the paper, nothing.
Bye.
Until we sign the paper, there's no, you know, it's just like confirmation and all that kind of stuff, right?
So it's not trading on the open market, so it's no inside
yeah, so
trading.
if it doesn't go well, oh well, if, you know, if for whatever reason, I mean, it's looking like we're going to do it, but if it doesn't, then, you know, then it just didn't happen, okay? And at that point in time, anybody on the recording, you probably won't hear this part that we just said at all. We'll edit this whole part out, okay? But if we do get it, then I'll leave everything we just said in there. So those of you guys on the recording, don't even worry. You wouldn't even know what we talked about if that didn't happen. But for you guys in here, you guys are all close to me. Almost every single one of you guys. So I would appreciate it if I'm just giving you guys heads up. This is what we're going to do, and that's why I'm showing you guys this software right now.
And it's not publicly traded, so it's not insider trading information.
Yeah, it's not insider trading. It's not publicly traded.
Full disclosure.
But yeah, but if I do acquire it, then I'm gonna like put my own twist to it, and then it will make the software a whole lot easier. At least, I shouldn't say easier, more of my way of trading, okay? But if you go to Magenta Trader, this is the software, right here. And you launch the software. And I'm gonna type in Netflix, because Netflix is one of those stocks that I trade, all right? So the first thing, you probably can't see this too well because it's not really blown up yet. Let me see if I can do this. But if you see this dot right here, see this dot right here? Okay, so Netflix, now I need to see if I can do something here. All right, so that dot right there, let me see if I can zoom out now. All right, so what I'm gonna do, all right, there you go. I want you guys to look at this number down here, okay, when I hover over that dot. What does it show you right there? At the bottom?
100.
Right here.
Let's divide by 0.
It's a 10 and O. Oh, by the way, what is Magenta? Okay, so Magenta Trader is a software that does seasonality. Seasonality is nothing brand new or anything like that. There's stuff out there. But what I liked about this software in particular is it put together data and lets you know when a stock is ready to move. Okay. The problem with a lot of people trading seasonality is that a seasonality will come and say, okay, this stock moves April, kind of like what Francis said earlier. It's like sell in May, go away. Okay, so May comes, people start selling, only to find out that, like last year, wait a second, it was crazy to sell in May. You missed out on the biggest rally. So that's the problem that I see with a lot of people trading seasonality, is they'll pick a day and say, okay, this day the stock is ready to go up, so they pick that day and they start buying. Or this day the stock is ready to go down, they pick this day and they start shorting, only to find out that they're losing money. Okay, so what I have done and what you guys have now learned is, when do we know it's time to stop buying? Charts.
Use seasonality for what you're going to look at.
Exactly. So a lot of people have traded seasonality, but traded it wrong because they bought seasonality based on dates rather than on charts. Have you ever seen where a seasonality would say a stock is ready to go up in February, and by the time you come down in February, the stock has already been up? Okay, and that's because the moves took place maybe 2 weeks before that, 3 weeks before that. So these are the kind of things that I'm going to incorporate into this software, where I'm going to say, hey, once it starts showing us buy signals within 2 to 3 weeks of its seasonality date, alert us on this, so that way you can start seeing it. Hey, wait a second, this stock is firing off a signal. Why is it firing off a buy signal? Oh, we got seasonality coming up. Sometimes it's exactly on the date, sometimes it's 2 weeks after, okay? But we can see here that Netflix, at the bottom right here, for the last 10 years, has had a 10 and O for earnings. Meaning that every single year for the last 10 years, in that quarter, earnings has been good. So knowing that information, my only thing was, can I trade this again?
Wally, how does it qualify? Does it qualify from January 1st to March 31st, or what time period are we looking at for this move?
It's really a short period of time.
Is it a 30-day move?
No.
That's what it looks like. You got a 30-day.
Yeah, this looks like a 30-day move, but I'm not in there for 30 days. Again, because even though this is saying 30 days, I'm looking at the chart.
Personally, I can tell you that trading that stock in 2015 gave me the best results. 2016, they were talking about expanding into Europe, and the forecast was bad. So the forecast or the future, comments from the company makes a big difference.
Sure, absolutely.
So this was a bad year. 2016 was not a good year to trade it.
Exactly. So again, this is where what comes into place. Charts. Knowing how to read the charts would help you, okay? And that's what it has done for me. So that when I see it on the chart, okay, like there's some stocks right now where, see, now they're saying it's ready to go up, and I'm looking at the chart and I'm like, nope, not interested in trading that. Matter of fact, there was another guy that has a seasonality software that I was listening to his webinar, and he picked about 4 stocks saying that they were ready to go down. I looked at the chart, I was like, good luck to you. And even till the last time I was listening to his webinar, which was last week, he's been trading this since the beginning of January. The stock just keeps on going up, okay? And he's been telling everybody that's on that subscription, short the stock, short the stock. And I'm like, not this time. Now I see what he's saying, because seasonality-wise, the stock has gone down in January. But unfortunately, this year, it did not go down. And that was one of my issues with seasonality, which was, how do you know this year is going to do the exact same thing? What if this year is the year that it would not do the same thing? Okay? Because, hey, look, you could have 10-0, but what if this year is going to turn into a 9-1? How would you know that? A chart will let you know. Okay? So by knowing how to read the charts, you'll be able to see that, wait a second, oh wow, this stock is getting ready to go up again. I need to see buy signals. I need to see my primary candlestick signal. I need to see all this stuff. If I see it, then I know, hey, wait a second, this stock is ready to do something. If I don't see it, then it's like, you know what, I'm gonna pass around. So, let's go to the chart of Netflix.
And you say start looking 2 to 3 weeks before?
Yes.
Investor?